We are starting just now, so bear with us. We had some technical. Okay. So, David.
Okay.
So this is patient. Another patient in the house. This is Louis. This is Charmaine. This is David. He will be the co-presenter with me. Yeah. So David, I think for the sake of time, please.
Alright. So yeah, again, kind. Thank you for attending today's lesson. So, just as a recap on our previous lesson, I think we talked about logical functions. And we talked about lookup functions, whereby we talked about the index image, the VLOOKUP, and the HLOOKUP, and the best use cases of these functions. So, as a recap today, I think I'll just brush through on the one example of VLOOKUP, HLOOKUP, and the index image. Then we move towards the XLOOKUP, which more like replaces, or which acts better than the HLOOKUP and the VLOOKUP function.
Okay. So you can go ahead, Chief.
Especially joining online, or it's your first time? You were in the last lesson.
You
Oh,
can. We'll sort that. I think with
were
this
you
guy,
in the?
we'll sort that. Sarah,
Okay.
you go back there. No bad partners. So she tell you 20. So
Okay.
you are now the phone punching Chief.
Let me just fire up the.
It's visible.
Yeah, it's visible. Okay, so we talked about the VLOOKUP. I think I will just provide one example.
Trigger it. Say it.
Should be able to minimize this. Yeah,
Just drag it to the far
I think.
Yeah.
Nice.
Stop at enter height.
Nice. Okay. So just as an example, maybe you wanted to grab
You can speed up.
student student 6, and we want the. Okay.
Go to
This is something else.
no. Click up. Click up. Right. Go to web. And yeah.
Nice.
Yeah.
It's hidden again.
See that. Entire screen, right? Yeah. Okay. Click there and share. Confirm you can now see the screen.
All right. So, like I was saying, we are trying to obtain the mark that was obtained by student 6 in science subjects. So, we'll just do a quick review of our VLOOKUP function. So, if I type VLOOKUP, it's asking me for the lookup value. So, my lookup value will be the specific unique identifier, which is student 6. Then I put my comma, table array. I highlight my table array, and again on the table array. So you have to make sure that the value that you are looking up for, it has to be in the first column as you highlight your table array. Then we go on to say the column index number. So for this science is in the third column, right? So we just type 3. Then range lookup, we want an exact match. Okay, we close our bracket, we press enter. So as you can see, it's highlighting not available hashtag NA, because in this table we don't have N student 6. But if we change this to maybe student 3, let's see what happens. It's 80. So you can see 80. And then also we talked about how we can retrieve multiple columns from the VLOOKUP, whereby we just put these curly brackets. Then let's say we want maths, science, English, and music. So we are going to say 2, comma 3, comma 4, 2, 3, 4, and comma 5. And by pressing end, we are able to highlight the various columns from our table array. So I think this is powerful. It allows you to retrieve multiple columns from the table array. So we could do this for student 6, to student 3, student 2, student 1, etc. This is just a simple data set, but in the real world scenario, the data set won't be grasp the concepts well. So we move on to the H lookup. So the H is horizontal, and the V lookup is vertical lookup. H lookup, horizontal lookup. So again, let's say maybe we are looking up for student 1. Student 1. And as you can see, so for the horizontal lookup now, the value that you are looking up for, it has to be in first row. So as you can see, our data set doesn't match that arena. So what we are going to do now, we are going to transpose this so that it matches, or it allows us to use our horizontal lookup function. So we are going to highlight this whole table, and as you can see, the value that we are looking out for is now in the first row. And we can press Ctrl C, and we can press Alt ES. Then we paste as value, enter. We are good to go. So student 1, let's say it's math subjects. So we're going to type is equals to H lookup. What's our lookup value? That is the unique identifier, student 1. Then what's our table array? Again, the value that you're looking up for, it has to appear in the first row of your table array. So we are going to highlight our whole table array. Then comma, what's the row index number? We want mathematics, right? So it's in row 1, 2 of our table array. Okay, then we want our exact match, which is false. Close our brackets, enter, then we are good to go. Now let's say maybe you want to retrieve multiple rows at once. Let's say maybe science and English. We are going to press Ctrl code just to make the process faster. So we are going to retrieve these at once by putting our curly brackets again. Then as you can see, maths is in row 2, then science in row 3, then English in row 4. So we are going to put row 2, comma, row 3, comma, row 4. Then you close our curly bracket, we press enter. As you can see, we've managed to retrieve all these at once. Then we move to the index. So I won't talk about the index, we highlighted about this. I won't talk about the mesh, we highlighted about this. I think I'll skip to the how to use the index and mesh. So let's say we have students, then you want to grab student, we want to grab, okay, so press Ctrl Z, and we want to grab student 3 from this table array. So if we are going to use the index and mesh, what we are going to do is we are going to say is equal to index. and what is it that we want to retrieve. Okay. So we want to retrieve a mathematics marks. So we are going to highlight this array. Okay. Then comma. We are going to put our match here. So the match function now is asking us for a lookup value. So we are going to highlight this one, which is our unique identifier. Then where are we going to find this lookup value from? It's going to come from this array, which is our column array. Then what's our mesh type? We want exact mesh. Then now we close our brackets here. We press enter. As you can see, student 3, this student 3, 85, student 3, again, 85. Wonderful. So as you can see, we managed to retrieve the mark for student 3, which is for mathematics, right? But maybe you might want to make this formula dynamic, to say we don't have to select mathematics manual, just as to append dynamical. So what we are going to do is we are going to say is equals to index. Okay. And we are going to highlight the whole table array here. Okay. Then we are going to, so now as you can see, my formula for the index is asking me for the row number. So instead of manually typing maybe the row number, or what I'm going to do is to embed the match formula into this. Then it's asking me for the lookup value. So as you can see, these are my rows. This will highlight my rows. So I'm going to highlight my lookup value for the row. Then what's the lookup array? I'm going to grab this from this array. Then again, I press 0 for an exact match. Then I close my bracket. Then if I press comma, it's asking me for the column number. So instead of typing the column manual, I'm going to highlight the match function, or to embed the match function into this formula. Then it's asking me for the lookup value. So what's my lookup value? It's math currently. Then I'm going to say lookup array. Where am I going to get this math value from, or where am I going to grab this unique identifier from? It's from this array which I'm highlighting currently. So I'll highlight my array. Okay. Then I press 0 again for an exact match. And I close my bracket. And as you can see, we grabbed student 3. Okay. Okay. Currently, it's referring to. I think I might just need to refresh on this index. What's my array? Okay. This is my array. Then it's my array. Okay. Then I look my array again. I press F4, function F4. I look my array, function F4. Then for the row number, student 1, student 2, student 3. Okay. I introduce my match function. What's my lookup value?
Sorry, David. There's someone who wants to join. He's on the lobby.
Okay.
View.
Okay.
Me too.
Hello to the new guys who are just joining. Okay. Hello, team.
Are you not muted?
No. Hello, team. Am I audible?
You should be muted. Okay.
Okay. All right. It's fine. Thank you. So let's move on. So here we're saying we're going to index this array. Then I locate by pressing Control F4, comma. So for the row number now, I'm going to highlight this. Then I highlight my row. Okay. I press Control Fn and F4, comma. Zero. Then again another mesh function.
So this is index match.
Yeah. Fn F4, zero. Shift. Yeah, I think we might need to look. It shouldn't be supposed to be retrieving student two, but I think we'll come back to this later. I think for now, maybe what I can do is to introduce you to the XLOOKUP function. So let's say maybe you wanted to retrieve the marker for student three. So what we are going to do, in most of your scenarios, I think it would be advisable to use the XLOOKUP function. So what we are going to do is to put our lookup value. And the advantage for the XLOOKUP function is that it's simple. It replaces the VLOOKUP, the HLOOKUP, in the sense that when we talked about the VLOOKUP, we said it has to be in the first column. And when we talked about the HLOOKUP, it has to be in the first row. So we can avoid this by just using our XLOOKUP. And I think we won't even need to think about if it is in the first column or. Okay, so this is our lookup value. Then comma, what's our lookup array? This is our lookup array. And what is it that you want to return? This is our return array. Okay. And value if not found. So whenever you see these square brackets, it means it's an optional parenthesis. So you can even skip it by putting a comma. Then match mode, you want an exact match mode. Okay. So I'm going to put 0. Then I close. I press enter. Again, it's not retrieving student 2. This data seems a bit messed up. Okay, lookup array. Lookup array. Lookup array. Come. Retrain array. Okay, yeah, now it's functioning. So like I was saying, you're going to type is equals to X lookup. Then we highlight our lookup value, comma. What's our lookup array? This is our lookup array. Then we look our lookup array by pressing Control Fin. Then return array. What is it that you want to return? This is what you want to return. Okay. then comma. If not found, you can highlight not found. Then the match mode is exact match. Yeah. Then I think if you press N, we are good to go. So student 2 for mathematics is 65. We are good to go. And you can also retrieve multiple columns again using the XLOOKUP by using the curly brackets like what we're referring to. I think now we need to rush to some other.
Maybe David, before we go, maybe guys, we can spare 2 minutes so that you can do it. I just sent you the file. You can open. You have it, right? So we can just try to do XLOOKUP. XLOOKUP is the hybrid of VLOOKUP. So you see the flexibility with XLOOKUP is your key must not necessarily be in the first one, in the first column, as we said, which is the drawback of what of VLOOKUP. So XLOOKUP does the same thing with VLOOKUP, but in a more advanced manner. So in short, that's it. It's not scale, and it has the flexibility that, as he was demonstrating, it has many other items. Maybe you don't maybe want necessary to return an NA. You can then code what you want to return for the values that are not matching. So that's it on XLOOKUP. So guys, I think let's try to do it real quick. So when
Mhm. Okay, so we are on the XLOOKUP function. So this one is a hybrid of the VLOOKUP and the HLOOKUP. And the advantage of this, remember when we talked about the HLOOKUP, that is the horizontal lookup, and the VLOOKUP, that is the vertical lookup. We said that the value that you are looking out for in the table array, it has to appear in the first column, that is for the VLOOKUP, and in the first row, that is for the horizontal lookup. But you can imagine with complex data sets, you are kind of limited. So with time, they've managed to introduce the XLOOKUP, which is a hybrid, and I think it's also user friendly in the sense that it's straightforward. So if I type is equals to XLOOKUP, like what I've done here, and I type my open brackets, as you can see on the screen, it's asking me for the lookup value. And like we said before, our lookup value is our unique identifier. So student 2, that's our lookup value. Then we are going to type comma, and it's asking me for the lookup array. So where am I going to get the student 2 from? I'm going to get it from this array. This is our column array, okay? And I'm going to look my array, then comma. Now it's asking me for the return array. That is the values that I want to grab from this table array. So what's my return array? Currently, I want for mathematics. So I'll just highlight the math. Then maybe I might want to drag my formula so that it adjusts for science, English, and music. So that means I'll have to do my absolute referencing by locking these numbers here so that it's capable to adjust as we move relatively to the columns. Okay, then I'm going to type my comma here. So what's the value if not found? So if not found, you can return not available. Then comma. What's your match mode? So whenever you see these square brackets, these are optional parentheses. So you can even skip them or you can put them if you want. But in this case, we are going to put them. So my match mode is 0. Then yeah, I'm done. I close my bracket. Then I type enter. So if I copy my formula towards the other columns, not available, not available. Okay, and I think you can tell the reason why it's saying not available is because in the science column, if I highlight, Okay. Match mode student 2.
Is it locked?
No, it's not available. Let's type it manual. It goes to X lookup. What's my lookup value? My lookup value is student 2. What's my lookup array? Okay. And what's my return array? Okay. Then value if not found, not available. Okay. Comma. Then exact match mode. And so if we check on what's happening, let's do the same again for this. This goes to X lookup. What's my lookup value? And what's my lookup array? Okay. Then I can look my array here. Nice. Then type comma. What's my return array? For English is this. Then if not found, we're going to return not available. And match mode, we want an exact match mode. Yeah, I think we're good to go. Nice. Okay, that's my lookup value. Okay, so I've reserved this last column so that we can observe what was going on. So as you can see, my lookup value, as I pasted my formula towards the columns, if I highlight here, you can see my lookup value is changing to be 43, but it's supposed to be anchored on student 2. So from this, I think we can all see the importance of absolute referencing and relative referencing. So if we were to do it the correct way now, in this cell, we were supposed to look so that it won't change as we are changing our columns here. So we are supposed to look P14. But as you see, it has to change as we are changing the rows. So we are not going to look at the rows. We are not going to look at the numbers here. Okay, and we press enter. And we paste our formula. We are good to go. So if we are going to put maybe student 3, student 4, let's say we put student 3 here. And we control copy out ES, we paste our formula. As you can see, it's adjusting and it's dynamic. I think I don't know if there's anybody with any question regarding XLOOKUP before we move on. I now update. So in English, there is also 18. So for those wane Excel isiri kubuditsa XLOOKUP, I think in English update. So what you can do, not going to end up at Chrome. Then you download the XLOOKUP function file. Then you go to options. Then you're good to go to advanced. Is it advanced where we get them? You are going to go to add-ins. Then you are going to go to this go and you continue to add in your XLOOKUP functions. So guys, we need to rush on to the logical functions. I think our time is a bit limited.
Yeah, so while you are downloading and installing, I think we can move forward to logical functions, which are also key. Maybe we can reserve this for, but I think we are also recording the live video. You can then refer to it later and watch. So I think for now we can then go on to
just help them to download.
yeah.
Also,
So you just type download X lookup add-in, it will show up. Then you can then download and follow the way which we said we add add-ins. But for this one, you then need to import it because it's not a default add-in. I think you can move on.
so then. So we are going to move on to our logical functions. Come. And yeah, we're going to start with the basic if function. Maybe to start, we can start with the end function and the or function. So to build the concepts of our logical functions, we'll start with the end function. So the end functions, it checks if all arguments are met or if all conditions are met. So the thing about the end function, so the thing about the end function, it's a bit more strict, and it requires all conditions to be met. So let's say maybe your manager is saying, I'll award you with a bonus if you manage to come to work early for the whole year, and also if you manage to bring sales that exceed a certain percentage. So as you can see, the end function is a bit strict in the sense that it's asking you to meet all the conditions. But the difference now with the or functions, the or function is a bit less strict in the sense that it only requires you to meet only one of the conditions. So it's either or. You can only meet the one of the conditions and you're good to go. So to display the end function, I think let's say maybe we have student one, and we want to see if we are saying the student one, we will regard the student one to have performed well if he has managed to score.
Hold a bit. I think your screen is no longer sharing.
What
Hold on, guys.
is sharing it.
This.
Okay, so I was saying the end function. Let's say maybe we're saying for student one, we are going to regard the student as exceptionally performing if they manage to score a score that is above 85 in all his subjects, that is math, science, and English. So what we are going to do is we are going to introduce the end function. And like I said, we are going to regard him as exceptionally performing if he manages to score above 85 in all the subjects. So if I type end and I type the opening bracket,
On your live stream,
okay.
it's coming out as blank.
Yeah, I think you might need to adjust. We're supposed to share the screen instead of. How about we change the screen resolution?
I know it was working. Hello.
Yes, yes.
Yes, we
Yes, yeah.
did the last time. I think you can continue.
Oh,
Yeah,
we're good.
it's now.
All right. So I was saying, for us to regard, maybe we are saying for us to regard student one is exceptionally performing. That means the student would have scored above 85 in all the subjects. So what we are going to do now is we are going to say is equal to end. Then we say this, what's the logic here? They have to score above 85, comma, what's the logic two? In these science subjects again, they would have scored above 85. And the logic three in this English subject, they should have scored above 85. So as you can see, the student falls short of being an exceptional performer. But let's say maybe we are less strict and we are saying the student will be regarded as exceptionally performing if he manages to score 85 in any one of the subjects. So in this case, whereby we are saying in any one of the subjects, that means we are less strict and we are going to use the or function because the student just has to meet any one of the criteria. So we're going to type is equals to O, then this, what's the condition? They have to score above 85, and in some sense, they have to score above 85, and in English, they would have to score above 85. And close the bracket and press enter. True. So, because the student managed to score above 85 in any one of the subjects, that's how we got the true return message here. So for the enter and or function, they return the true or false return message. Okay. Then we move on to the if function. So the if function is a conditional function that returns a certain answer based on if a certain logic is met. So I will just give an example. Let's say maybe I'm giving you a condition to say ndichakudzorera mari yako, that is if ndikatambira. So you see the condition of me returning back your debt is based on upon if I receive my salary. So I think that's the same notion with the if function. Okay. So in this case, we're going to say, let's say if we have a student one, let's just copy all the students here. Control copy. We're copying all the students here. Then let's copy all the subjects. So what we are going to do is if a student manages to score above 70, in one of the subjects, I will regard them as an exceptional performer. Then if he scores below 70, I will regard them as poor performers. So we are going to type our logical function if, then what's the logical test? This one scores above 70, then we are going to regard them as an exceptional performer. Otherwise, we are going to regard them as poor performing. Okay. Then now close our brackets, we're done. So as you can see, this one managed to score above 870 and is being labeled as exceptional performer. And if you paste our formula here, okay. So as you can see, these students here, they scored student 5. I was playing in school. He scored 45 in maths and he was labeled as poor performer. And student 5 scored 60, again poor performer, because he didn't meet the condition to be classified as exceptional performer. Okay, then we move on to the if function. So the if function it works similarly to the if function, but what we are doing now is it allows us to do some multiple conditions. So let's say maybe we are grading our grades for students. So we are saying if a student scores from 60 to 70, then we are going to classify them as they would have scored a C. From 80 to 90, maybe it's a B. Then from 90 to 100, as an example, it's a plus. So the is function, in the is function, we are capable to put multiple conditions. Okay, so as you see, we are going to say is equals to ifs. What's our logic one? Let's just type it in the cell below. Okay, let's just type it in this cell. Is equals to ifs. Okay, so if the student scores above let's say maybe 60, we are going to say they've scored a C, comma, if they score above 70, we're going to say they scored a B, and if they score above a 90, we're going to say A plus plus. Otherwise, student is playing. And now we close our bracket, press enter. Okay, and it's saying I've entered two few arguments for this. Okay, let's just see what's happening with is equals to is open which code tests value if true is greater than 60. We're going to type they would have scored a C, comma, which code test true. This they wanted to score above 70. We're going to type they've scored a B. Okay. Then let's go test 3. I'm going to say if they've scored above let's say 80, we're going to say they've scored A plus plus. Okay, nice. Let's see what happens here. So as you can see, the students scored 83, and it's classified as A plus plus because they've scored above 80. Okay, which is wonderful. And if we were to change this to 60, okay, so 60, it's not reading the formula. Okay, just to they say if they score less than specify less than or equal to 60, repeat. Okay, oh, nice, wonderful. If they are going to score less than 60,
Say it end. Should
oh,
end something.
okay, yeah, nice. Still the
Less than
condition
or equal to.
less than or equal to. Nice. Control copy. we're going to paste our formulas into the various. So as you can see, you can easily tell the
But
student
why
is
why is it
repeating.
devoting to C for all the grades?
Okay. N less than. Okay, I see the case because this one now is first meeting this condition. As you can see, is first meeting this condition greater than 60. So we should have started from greater than 80, A plus plus. Then now we move on to 70 B. Then we move on to 60. That's how I see. Press end. Out ESF end. Nice. So the this formula now is more sensitive to the order you put your conditions in. As you can see, before I had put I started with less than 60. So whenever it was being greater than 60, then it was satisfying that condition and it was returning a C. But how this formula works now, as you can see, we started by N7 greater than 80 and it's returning. And if it doesn't meet that condition, it goes to the next condition and say N7 greater than 70. It changes a B, then it moves to the next condition, N7 being greater than 60. It changes a C. So in this case, order matters. Now you put your conditions. Then we move to the COUNTIF function.
Alright, so maybe before you go, so this formula, if and ifs, they are important. Maybe suppose you are an auditor, you are given maybe a database for loans with the start date and or the last date of payment. You want to do grading for your loans. They are important because maybe you need to calculate your date from now, maybe to the last date of payment. Maybe you'd say 30 days, 60 days, 90 days, 120 and stuff. Then you need to put grade to see is it in which category. So those formulas are important. I think you can move.
All right, thank you. So moving on to the
Is it
COUNTIF.
that maybe the guys need to do
Something, yeah.
some bit of hands-on?
Okay. Uh, okay. But it's more strict. Let's say now, here we are saying if n is equals to 60, let's say maybe if n is equals to 30, so it's only going to meet the equal to condition. If n is equals to 30, so it's more strict on 30. If n is equals to 80, it's more strict on 80. If n5 is equals to 70, it's more strict on 70. If n5 is equals to this, it's more strict on this, as you can see. And if you press enter here, as you can see, it was equal to 60. But let's say now we type 61 inside this. You see it will return not available because the number is not there and it's more strict. So I think maybe just as you practice, you can use this and maybe type the formula inside cell P5. Okay.
Yeah. So guys, let's do some bit of dirty work and try to see if we can have some result on the if and ifs.
Okay. So I'll just be off this sheet whilst you are doing your practical example. Okay.
So
Are
when
you
you get
doing?
it, let us know. Are you there, Shami? You got it?
Did you?
Yeah,
Did you get it?
you got it.
Okay.
What about the other guys?
Hi guys. Did you get the? Hello guys who are joining online. Fish. Oh yeah, having a cup of coffee. Okay. Nice. So I think what we're going to do next um, is to try to move on to the county far condition. So this one, what we are trying to do is just to count based on a certain condition. Okay, I think as you see, as you move to our additional comprehension Excel file, you see the importance of this function. So let's say maybe we are. Let me just copy these headings so that they will help us populate and demonstrate the formula. And we have these grades. So now let's say maybe you are a teacher and you are assessing the performance of the students. Then you want to see what number of students scored maybe A score in mathematics or B score in mathematics, etc. etc. So what now you're going to do is you're going to say is equals to count if you open your bracket, then what's the range that you want to count from. This is your range. Okay. Then what's your criteria? Okay. This is the criteria. Nice. As you can see, the five students, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, who scored A in all these subjects. So this is how we can use our COUNTIF function. And again, as you see in the later additional comprehension Excel file, we'll demonstrate this formula further. But I think it's a bit simple and we can move on to some other formulas. Are we clear? By criteria. So I was saying, let me type again. As you can see, if I type is equals to COUNTIF.
What's confusing is you are counting under maths.
Okay.
Maybe you can remove maths.
Okay, you just want me to count.
Because you are counting everything.
All right. It's fine. It's fine. So, if you are to count and if you are to count under maths, this is for your maths grade, right? So we are going to highlight this array. Then we are going to look by pressing Fn and F4. Okay. But remember, we would also want to copy our formula towards column Q, towards column R again. So what we are going to do is we are going to look in terms of the rows which are represented by the numbers, but we are going to leave the columns ungrouped. Okay. then we type a comma. So as you can see, it's count if range. Then we are done with highlighting the range. Then we are going on to put the criteria. So what's the criteria? We want to count the grades that was scored by each student. So instead of manually typing your grade, you can just highlight here since there's a A and you want your formula to be dynamic. So I'm just going to highlight in this cell where there's A. Then I'm going to close my bracket here. I press enter. And again, before moving on to press enter, as you can see, we want our grades to change as we are changing rows. You can see, but we don't want it to change as we are changing columns. So how are we going to do our absolute referencing? We are going to lock the letters which represent the columns, but we are going to leave the numbers unlocked so that it changes relative to the grades. Okay, press enter. So for mathematics, the number of students that scored A were 1, 2, 3. And if we paste our formula towards the whole table array, and you can see those who scored B in mathematics, there were 2. And those who scored C in science subjects, it was 1 student, 2. Okay, are we clear? Are we? Yeah, but I think if you go on to practice this, you grab it.
What I think, you are saying the figures are changing. So on the first example, it
It was
only one
highlighted
criteria.
for all the criteria. It was for the whole table array. So as you can see, in the first example, I highlighted for the total. Let's say maybe we want to count the number of students
Total number of A's for all the subjects.
for all the subjects. So as you can see, for all the subjects, then comma. What's my grade here? A grade. So you find that we have 5 A's, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay, and let's say maybe you want to see the C grade for this 3. You can see. All right. I think
For this second example, it's multiple conditions. We are checking for the grading for the subject.
subject.
That's why the number is goes. How it gets.
Then the sum if. So yeah, in the sum if, I think this one you can kindly replace it with the sum is function. But just to demonstrate it, maybe we want to count the number of students maybe that managed to score a distinction in mathematics. Okay, so what we are going to do is a true with a true condition. Okay, and with this with the range. Okay, so we are going to say is equals to sum if. But yeah, don't worry much about this because the sum is, I think it does multiple things, and it's a bit easier to use and comprehend. So I'm going to highlight my range here. So what's my range? Okay, let's say my range criteria. Okay, my range. I want for distinction columns. Then we look at these cells, control F4, comma. What's my criteria? So this is my criteria. And I want it maybe to change as I'm changing rows, but not to change as I'm changing columns. So just as a best practice, I'll look at the letters, then comma. So as you can see, the sum range is optional. It's an optional argument, but in this case, we have to put it because we want to sum the scores that were scored by these students. But if these were numbers, then we're going to be okay. But these are conditions, so we are going to highlight our sum range here. and we're going to log again by pressing Fn, F4, press enter, 284. Okay, so by this, what we are trying to say is the number, the scores that were scored by students who managed to get a distinction added up to 284. And if you do this manual, we are going to say here we had the true condition, we're going to sum this. Then here we had the true condition, we're going to sum this. Then here we had the true condition, we are going to sum this. And you press end, 284, 284. Yeah, we are good to go. Let's move on to.
So maybe to comment, I think this is a must know. It's either some if or some ifs.
Yeah.
The difference between some if and some ifs, as we said on if and ifs, is that some ifs accept many
Conditions.
more than one. Maybe you want to put multiple conditions that you want to filter that. So some and some ifs they are must know, same as count and all other functions. You can go ahead.
All right, thank you. So now moving on, I think okay, we can move on to. Can you move on to textual functions, right? But this one I'll just do it on a higher level because we are rushing to do this Excel training additional comprehension. Okay, wonderful. So now we'll start with the trim function. So just as a brief background of these textual functions, these are useful in cleaning our data sets. Okay, so usually we are presented with some messy data set, and you want it to match some certain conditions, or you want it to suit your needs. So usually you find that you'll be leveraging on these textual functions. Okay.
Sorry,
Uh,
since you are still sharing
the previous, kindly check. It goes to trim. Can you see this one? It goes to trim.
I'm there.
You are there. All right. So to start with, we're going to start with the trim function. So the trim function, what it does, it just removes some extra spaces. So this can be trailing or leading spaces. By trailing, we mean the spaces here, and by leading, these are your leading spaces. Okay, so what we're going to do, let's say maybe we had this student one and we want to remove the space. Let me just copy this table here so that you can visualize the concept well. And let me just delete this. So I'm going to type is equals to trim, then I highlight my text, I press enter, and we are good to go. Let me just add my borders. So just as a shortcut to add borders, you can press Ctrl 1 to access this tab. Then yeah, you can inside borders. Okay, then we are good to go. So as you can see, we have managed to remove the trailing and leading spaces from student 1 here. Then if you do the same for student 2, okay, still student 1, but it had a trailing space here. We have student 1 and we're good to go. Then now let's say maybe you are presented with a different scenario. Let's say, yeah, let me just put my outside borders. Okay, or border. Let's say maybe you are presented with a different scenario, and you have student 1 written like this. Okay, yeah, you have student 1 written like this. As you can see, even if you use the trim function, it's not going to help you to remove these spaces. So what you can do is you can use the substitute function. So you're going to say it goes to substitute, then you highlight your text, Then what you want to do is you want to remove spaces in between. So you're going to present your space by typing these open and closing inverted commas with a space in between. Then next, you are going to type the opening and closing inverted commas without space in between. Then you press enter. As you can see, you have managed to remove or clean the spaces that were in this student one text. Then I think we can move on to the concatenate function. This one is useful, yeah, in the sense that it allows us to combine text and numbers, etc. But the end result is a text. Okay. So let's say maybe we had David, and we have my age, which is 33. Okay. So I can do this by saying is equals to concatenate David, comma, is, comma, 33, comma, years old. Course, and David is 33 years old. And as you can see, there are no spaces. It's not looking so nice. So what you could do here to put some spaces, you could add spaces in these inside these opening and closing inverted commas. The same here, you can also add a space before. Okay, nice, wonderful. David is, I think I also need to add a space here. David is 33 years old. So that's how we can use the concatenate function. And let's move on to the substitute function. Okay. I don't know, is there anybody with any question, or maybe I'm moving too fast? The reason is we have more content to cover, and we just have to do it a bit faster.
So, um, guys, I think it's not always when you get clean data when you are working with data. So I think textual functions are very important when you are doing data cleaning. You see that maybe your data that you are getting, maybe it has some spaces, it has trailing and leading spaces. Maybe you want to concatenate, maybe to create a key, maybe the client has told you that maybe to get a key, you combine date, you combine the serial number, you combine the page number so that you create a key. You then use the concatenate. So textual functions are also important.
Okay. Thank you. So we move on to the substitute function. I think we highlighted the substitute function in this, whereby we said this goes to substitute. We put our old text, we put what we want to replace here. So in this case, we wanted to replace the spaces that were in between our text, which was this. Then what did we replace with? We replaced with no space here. Okay. So that's the same thing which is happening here. They say maybe I have Alfred written is Al. Okay. Alfred. So in a reward, the data won't be looking as simple as this, but this will help you to build the concept of using these textual functions. So what I'm going to do is I want this to be Alfred. So we are going to say is equals to substitute. What's the text that I want to adjust here? This is the text I've highlighted it. And what's my what is it that I want to replace? So I want to replace this P here. I'm going to type my P. And what's the new text? I want an R. Okay. I press enter, which is goes to Alfred. I think these concepts, they are a bit clear and simple and straightforward. So we move on to the upper and lower function. Okay. So here let's say maybe we have David written like this, and we want it to look, we want it to start with a lowercase. Okay, so what we could do here is we could say is equals to, we highlight the cell here. Okay, is equals to lower, we highlight our cell here. Okay, we press our closing bracket, we press enter. As you can see, it turns all the text, all the individual text items into lower cases. Okay, then let's say maybe now we want it to be all caps. We are going to say is equals to upper, we highlight this, we hit our closing bracket, press enter. It's going to turn this into all caps. And now let's say maybe we wanted this to look more proper. Okay, as you can see, there's a V which is caps lock, and it's not proper. So what we could do is we are going to say is equals to proper. Then you highlight our text here, close our brackets, press end. It's now looking proper. Is there any with any question before we move? Okay, I'll assume no question. We are going to move to the length function. So let's say maybe we have this. We have this text, and we want to see the length of each function. So what we are going to do is we are going to say is equals to len, that is for length, and we highlight the text, close our brackets, press enter. We press Ctrl C to copy our formula downwards, press Alt ESF enter to paste our formula. We are done. So as you can see, for student 3, we have 13 characters. So you also have to bear in mind that this length formula is also calculating, or is also factoring in your spaces in between your texts. Okay, let's move to the left, right, and the mid function. Okay, now we have this. Okay, so in this scenario, first scenario, let's say maybe we want to extract the year, that is 2018. What we could do is we are going to say is equals to left. So as you can see, we want to extract from the left, and we highlight our text here. Okay, and what are the number of characters? This is 4. So you find that in more advanced scenarios, your data won't be looking as smart as this. To say you have 2018, which has 4 characters, as we highlighted this, but it might be changing to say maybe here we have 5 characters, etc. But you just want the number, and we are going to deal with those in the later chapters. Okay, so if paste our formula downwards. Here we've managed to extract the year. Extract year. Okay. Now let's say maybe we want to extract the last digits that are in between. What we're going to do is we're going to say, okay, last digits. We're going to say is equals to right. Then we're going to highlight our text. What are the number of characters? 2. Press end. We paste our formula downwards. Out ESF end. Okay. Yeah, and I think on this we are done. We'll highlight some more of these examples on our additional comprehension Excel file. Okay. Let's move on. Is there anybody with any question or who needs clarity on this? Okay, okay. Okay, nice. Let's move on. Um, the dysfunction. What's up, Rich? Do we cover this today or
Yeah, I think we can. We still have more time.
what?
Data are important because at times you are given maybe data in another format. Maybe you need to extract data parts and use it for reporting. and maybe do some calculations on dates. So we need them.
All right.
So did you all understood the text function? Because those are important for sure to deal with your messy data that you'll be dealing with. So if you face any challenges, please let us know so that we do a revisit of those. We can move on to this.
All right. Okay, so what we are going to do now, we are going to move towards the date functions. Let's say maybe we are presented with 2 days, 2 different days. And here in the first example, I'm just going to use these days. So let's say we have these days, okay, and we want to calculate the number of days in between these days, okay. So what we are going to do now is we are going to say is equals to days. We open our brackets. We're going to highlight our end date. So in this case, as you can see, our end date, this is our end date. Then our start date, this is our start date. And you close our bracket, we press enter. It's going to return 11. So in this case, we have managed to retrieve the number of days that are between these 2 days, okay? And now let's say maybe we don't want the specific number of days. We just want maybe the number of years or something like that. What we're going to use now is the dated if function. Okay. Let me just retype this formula. Dated if.
Seems it's not there.
Yeah. Which Excel version. Yeah, it's not there.
You
So
just explain.
okay. So we are now going to use the dated if function. If it was there, we're going to put that is our end date, okay, which was this one, okay. Then what's our start date? This one. Then now we put the number of units, okay. So we put our unit measure. So in this case, we want our years. So what we are going to do if we add this function, unfortunately, I think for this function it's only available in updated Excel versions. So if it was available, we're going to type year to highlight that we need to retrieve the number of years, and it was going to retrieve years. And let's say maybe we wanted days, we're going to highlight DD to represent we needed the specific days. And let's say maybe we wanted months, we're going to highlight MM to symbolize we need the number of months that are in between these days. Okay, I
So
think.
can you just remove that and check all the date functions? I'm remembering there's another function that can do the same. I think it should
Okay.
just type date and see what functions are coming in.
There's date,
Check date.
there's date value, there's date. Okay. So for date, let's say maybe we put 2025.
It's not it.
It's not it, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
What about
Zero.
date?
That's the one which is there's no. Okay, it's not there. Dated diff.
That's fine.
Okay. So yeah, let's move on to some other functions. I think now what you are going to do is to move on to the
So
edge.
do you only date diff? I think the other functions that are hidden.
Okay, there was is equals to date value, date date.
No. Is that for date?
Which
For the
one?
dates, the other file that you were opening.
This one. Um, this one.
I'm saying the other functions that you haven't shown us.
Okay.
Open that one.
The dated.
You see
Okay.
the other functions that are hidden. If you can scroll to your to your right, to your left.
Okay. Okay. All right, so I'd skip this. So now we have is equals to day and is equals to now. So how the is equals to day function works is that it just enables us to retrieve the current date. So this one usually I use it when I want to count the number of days between this current date and the previous date. So it will retrieve the outstanding days. Okay. So maybe let's say maybe there was a payment that was made, but it's still outstanding till today, and you want to count the number of days on which it is still outstanding. So you can leverage on this. We go to the today function so that it is dynamic as the days move. Okay. So if I go on to type is equals to today, then I close. So this is our current date. This is our current month, 2025 July 07. Then the now function now it retrieves the current date and the current time. Okay, 1922. This is our current time. So these are useful again. Okay. Then we have these functions, which this one retrieves the day. Okay, month. Okay, this one. So what we are trying to do, let's say we have a date here, 2025 07. Let's just use the today function so that it's a bit dynamic. It goes to today. Then let's say maybe we want to grab the current day. So we're going to grab it from this. So the current day is 7. And let's say maybe you want to grab the current month. So we are just going to type is goes to month 7 July. And let's say maybe you want to grab the current year. You're just going to type year 2025. Okay. Is there anyone with some questions or okay? Thank you. So we are going to move on to our Excel additional comprehension workbook. Okay. So in this now, we were learning about textual functions, and I'll start by highlighting these text formulas whereby we had these addresses, okay? And let's say maybe, for example, you want to retrieve this WL, okay? Yeah, we start with the text functions, then we are going to move. So now let's say maybe you want to retrieve this WA, which is the last part of the address. Maybe it's only the street or it's the city, kind of. So imagine we're using the right function, but if we try to use the right function here, as you can see, the number of characters, maybe they might not be the same. They might be altering. They say maybe here there's 7 letters, 8, and how best can we retrieve this from this text? So what we are going to do is we are going to start by saying is equals to text split. Okay. Then you highlight our text. And how do you want to split your text? You want to split it based on this comma. Okay. You're done. So first part, we are done. We have this, we have this, we have this. They separated them based on this comma. Okay. Now we want the last part of this. Okay. So how are we going to do it? We are going to embed our choose columns. Okay. It's supposed to choose course.
Sorry, before you go there, David,
Yeah.
are you there? So you have to check the
So
just leave the text split function.
oh yo okay. So now we are saying we want to retrieve the last column of this, and how are we going to do it? We have said that it's supposed to choose course, and we can highlight this by saying what's your column number. We're going to say 3. Okay, and so as you can see, we've managed to retrieve the last part of this. And let's say maybe we wanted to retrieve the second part, we're going to say 2. And let's say maybe we wanted to retrieve the first part, we're going to say 1. Okay, and we can paste our formula downwards, out ESF, and nice. We can work on this example also, just to cement on the concept. So we are going to say is equals to text split. We split this based on this column delimiter. Okay,
So did you demonstrate the choose column?
the choose columns. Okay, is there Ember doing some demonstration on the choose columns?
Did you do it? So
No.
I'm behind.
All right.
Did you combine
You combine the
two?
yeah. It's more like we are moving up the ladder.
Okay.
So
can
maybe
you
I'm just
repeat that?
assuming.
Can you repeat that part?
All right. Guys, is there anybody who understood the text split or? Okay, so I'll start with the text split function. So now the text split function, what this does is it allows you to split your text. So it works in a similar fashion with the text to columns function. Okay, but now you are using your formulas to do this. So what you are going to do is you are going to say is equals to text split. They say maybe you wanted to split this text into 3 columns. So 1, 2, 3 based on these commas. Okay, so you highlight your text. Okay, and you put your comma based on this column delimiter. Your column delimiter is a comma. Nice. Then we close our bracket. So as you can see, we've managed to split this into 3 columns. 1, 2, 3. And now we want to grab the last column. Okay, so how are we going to do this? So if I type here is equals to choose core, as the name suggests, you are going to type your array, that is your columns. Okay, then after that you are going to put the column number that you want to retrieve. So this is what I'm now doing. I'm now combining the choose cores into this text split function. So I'm going to type is equals to choose cores. Okay, I type my comma. Then which column do I want? I want column 3. Done. And I can press Control copy. Then highlight down, out ESF, and I've been able to retrieve the last part of this address. So you can also retrieve the second part by choosing the second column and press enter. And if you copy your formula down, you can see you've managed to retrieve the second part of this address. And let's say maybe you want to retrieve the first part. Type 1 here. Then you can highlight your formula down. Okay, you've managed to retrieve the first part. So I'm going to do a similar example on this. Okay, so this one now it is a different column delimiter, but the concept is still the same. So what we are going to do is we are going to say is equals to text split. We highlight our cell, our text. Then what's our column delimiter here? Okay, this is our column delimiter. All right, we close. So you can see the effect already. We've managed to split based on this column delimiter. Now let's say maybe you want the text in between, which is this one. So what we're going to do it, we're going to introduce our choose call. Okay. Then we are going to type comma. We are going to type 2. Okay. And if we highlight our cells, our formula downwards, as you can see, by this we have managed to retrieve the text that is happening in between. Okay. Then let's move on to okay. I think we can use our VLOOKUP and XLOOKUP function, but in this case, let's use our VLOOKUP to retrieve the commissions that were received by these sales agents based on the number of customer sales.
No, maybe David. Is there anyone with a problem with if you look at or can demonstrate our X lookup? Because I think
Okay.
it's the new guy in town.
All right.
I think let's use the X lookup.
It's fine. So what we are going to do now is equals to XLOOKUP. Okay. So what's our lookup value? These are lookup values because we want to retrieve the commission that was received by a specific agent based on the number of customers saved. So what's the number of customers saved? In this particular case, we had 73. Then where are we going to get this from? Okay, that is our lookup array. This is our lookup array. And yeah, we can log this as well by pressing Fn F4. Press Fn F4, comma, what's our return array? Okay, we can log this by pressing Fn F4, comma, what if not found? Just return not available. Okay. Then in this case, I don't want an exact match because as you can see, we want it maybe to say if it was around 73, it will go on and to look up on the next, that is the next larger item, let's say 80, or it might go and look up on the next smaller item, that is -1. So in this case, let's use exact match or next smaller item. Okay. Then you close our bracket. Okay. So as you can see, for 73, it looked for the next smaller item, which was close to 60, and it retrieved 50 here. So we can go on and press Ctrl C to copy our formula. Then you highlight our formula downwards, out ESF, enter. Okay. And by this, I think we have managed to retrieve or to obtain the commissions that were obtained by each sales agent here. Nice. Anyone with some questions? Okay. Nice.
That's why you can't find someone.
Let's move on to this sales received commission sheet. So on this sheet, what I want to do is to display the number of sales that were made by each agent. Okay. Number of sales made by each agent. So how are we going to do it? We're going to introduce our COUNTIF function. So we're going to say is equals to COUNTIF And what's the range? We want to use this range. Okay. Then we're going to press comma. What's our criteria? So we want to see the sale that was made by each agent here. So these are our criteria. Okay. And we can look in terms of our columns, but we can leave our rows unlocked so that it adjusts as we move towards our rows here. We press enter. So from this, you can easily see that Fred made 10 sales. So this is the number of sales. Out ESF. So as you can see, let's say for Seaworks, this one she made around 6 sales. Okay. So this is a quick way to gain a quick insight of your data set. Then we can move on to the sum and sum if data sheet. So on this, remember the last time we had introduced this formula, but I think it was a bit confusing. So what we are trying to do, let's say maybe you want to grab the top sales, the top 10 or top 20 sales that were obtained by the sales rep in ascending order. So this is in terms of value. So how we get this is we are going to say is equals to if, then what's our logical test? We are going to say rows. Okay. Then we're going to highlight this. We're going to highlight this again. Then we are going to look at this. Okay. And under the top 10 sales. Okay. Value if true. We're going to return blank, and value for false, large. What's the array? We want to highlight this array. Okay. Function F4. And instead of using the K, we can make it dynamic by putting rows. Okay, we highlight this. Let's look this. It's okay. Wonderful. So I'll drop off out ESF. So as you can see, we've managed to retrieve the top 10 sales that were made by each by the sales agents. Okay, so you can adjust set this maybe to say, let's say you want the top 5. You can adjust this by putting a 5 here, and let's say if you copy our formula down out ESF and as you can see, we've managed to retrieve the top 5 sales that were made by the agents. Okay. Now we want to build this small template here. So we just want to reproduce everything that is here. So to start with, we had the team. Okay.
How many more items do you do?
In terms of coverage, I think we've covered most of these. So we are going now to build this template, and after that,
How many minutes do you want?
yeah, I think we can cover it in 10 minutes.
I think what you need, you can just demonstrate in the 2 minutes before. Does it take 4 minutes?
Yeah, it is. Okay. So the team will need to produce, but let me just demonstrate on a higher level. How maybe we are getting this template. So now, as you can see, the team is placed in the middle, and now we can do this. We can highlight, all right, up to these columns. Then we press Control 1 to fire up our formatting tab. Then we want to format our alignment. Okay, so we can do this by placing sender cross selection. Then we can place it in the center. Okay, and it's now in the center. Mhm. Then the color, in terms of the color, control one. Then you can select few effects. You select two colors here. You can select your color of your choice. And I'm putting in green, then with some light. Then I select this, and okay, and here's this color. Now let's put the borders. I'm going to highlight. No, to begin with, we can put the currencies. So now let's say maybe you are given this data set and you don't know the unique currencies that are there. So if you manually type, let's say USD you might leave out some currencies. So you can gain a quick grasp of the currencies that are in your array by typing is equals to unique. Then you highlight the array with your currencies. You press enter. As you can see, we have USD, ZW, ZAR. So this one now, besides enabling you to visualize the unique currencies that were available in this column, it helps you also in your data cleaning technique. So here, maybe I'm just going to purposely put this. You can see, okay. So as you can already see, you can see that there's a USD, but it has this opening inverted comma there. But without this, without using this unique formula, you wouldn't be able to see there's this opening inverted comma in front of your USD currency. Okay, so that's the other use of using the unique currency, the unique formula. It enables you to gain a quick grasp of each unique item that is happening in your column. Okay, and let's move forward. So we want the USD, ZAR. Let's start by ZWG, USD, ZAR, and ZWG. Okay, then and our sales rep wise total. Okay, then now again, we don't know the unique agencies that were there, but we can make use of our unique formula to retrieve our unique agencies. Okay, so we are going to type is equals to unique, then you highlight, press enter. Okay, there's some data here, that's why it's highlighting spew. So we can delete this, then make use of this is equals to unique. Yeah, so as you can see, we've managed to retrieve the unique agencies that were in this data set. But as you can see, the suspicion is this Joe here is similar to these agents, but maybe it's just a typing error. So let's say if you didn't use this unique function, then it was difficult for you to figure out that there's a Joe without an E. So what you can do, maybe you can just do your control find, do Joe, you replace with Joe. Okay, replace all, done. So you are now going to type your unique addresses, Joe, etc, Freddy, etc, etc. I will leave this for you to complete because already there are formulas that are inside. But I was just highlighting some of the concepts that might be critical in completing these templates. Okay, so I'll leave this platform for anyone with some questions or who needs clarity.
Hi guys, are we understanding this? Shamin, are you there? Because I think this is just maybe a repetition of what we are doing. So we are now combining all the concept to come up with something because we are trying to create a dashboard. Maybe that would be dynamic. So you need to reproduce this and maybe come up with something. Yeah, yeah, it's a mini dashboard.
It's a main dashboard.
I think
It's a simple, but
you also need to do there's another exercise that is going to come. There are now two, right? I sent the another one. If you remember, I think if you manage to go through the exercise that I sent, I think on Saturday. Yes, we'll do another one for the sales dashboard. Yes. If you manage to go through that assignment that I sent on Saturday, most of the concepts we covered them today. Yes. So let's go and now complete that exercise. If you do that and if you complete this exercise, I think you'll be somewhere good to go. Yeah. Patience, do you have any questions? You are getting, you are getting, or maybe as a question. Do you are you finding some concepts useful maybe that you can apply them in your area of work? Ah, wonderful. So I'm happy that you are getting some bits and pieces of it, and I hope as we continue to do our learning, we also continue to get more value from it. Okay, Shamin.
all right. I think just as a last small part, let's say maybe you want to review. Let's say you are given a data set or you are given a template which has been done by by a colleague, and you want to see where the formulas are coming from or where the numbers are fitting into. So maybe you are in audit and you want to audit some templates. What you could do, you can go to formulas and let's say here on trace precedence. Okay, so let's say maybe you have these numbers, you want to see where they are applying, so you can trace precedence, so there are no precedence. But if you come into this cell and you trace precedence, it will highlight to you where these numbers are being picked or the currencies etc. So from this you can easily pick where this number is being retrieved from. So it's being retrieved from USD currency, being retrieved from Joe, who is the sales rep, and it's being retrieved from these sales etc. And let's say also maybe you want you can remove arrows here. You can also come here and trace dependence. Okay, so you can easily see this Fred is feeding into these various, and it then enables you to quickly come into these cells and see if the formulas were done correctly, etc. So that's the use case of these trace precedence, trace dependence. You can as well remove the arrows.
Can you repeat that again? Did you get it, Shamin? You can repeat.
Charmaine, are you good?
She's looking confused.
Okay. So
You get
let's
it,
say
madam?
maybe you are given this template, okay, and you want to you want to review the formulas if they are correct. So it's difficult. Let's say maybe you type. It's difficult for you to see. Let's say where was this number particularly picked from. So for you to review the formula easily, maybe you can just go to this cell and say trace precedence. So it will show you where these are coming from. Okay. And then you can go to the columns, various columns, and to the numbers where they are coming from in the etc. Then you can also remove the arrows here. Then maybe let's say you are coming from these numbers. Trace where these numbers or where these agencies are fitting into. Okay, so you can trace your dependence and it will highlight to you the dependencies. Okay, so now you can see feeding into this and this and this, and you can then go on to look into the formula and see if the formula and correctly. Let's say maybe you're doing your auditing of the templates, etc., or you've received the template from a colleague. So that's how you can easily track down the formulas and reinforce on the authenticity or how accurate are the formulas, etc. You can remove your arrows here after you're done. It's not a big concept, but it's necessary. It helps you to integrate the formulas. I don't know if there's anyone with some questions.
All right. In the absence of questions, let me see where we are now with our learning. Okay, so we are done with formulas and functions. Visualization we did. So there's a part on financial modeling. I will see if it's really useful to most of us. But for now, I think we'll skip it. Then we go to Power Tools. I think we'll skip Power Tools as well because we are going to do it in detail in Power BI. I think the next time that we are going to meet, we are going to cover automation with macros and VBA. Then we go to collaboration and reward experience. Then I think we'll be done. I think we should cover this in one lecture. Then maybe at the end, we'll try to have 1 or 2 lectures on financial modeling. But I think this will be online because the instructor, I will see if he is able to attend. The guy who is going to take us on financial modeling. So I think for today, I think we can call it a day. Then let's make sure we do all the 2 exercises, including completing this one that we did. If we do that, trust me, we'll be good to go. And we have added value to ourselves. So thank you, guys.